let's talk about when we all first moved to San Francisco, and we were looking for jobs. We knew nothing about the place, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
I was born and raised here, actually.
You are full of shit.
Your accent gives you away.
Yeah, this is a authentic San
Water.
Francisco accent.
Do you have water?
You'd know if you grew up here.
Water.
This is how we really talk.
Water.
So we moved to San Francisco, and we knew nothing.
We were literally babies.
I was.
Knew no one.
I sold my car.
Are you native?
I mean, I didn't grow up in San Francisco, but very close by. Yeah. So,
Bay Area native?
yeah.
So
Does that count?
What's that?
Does that count as being native?
I mean, not really. I mean, I still had to move to San Francisco for the first time.
Okay, so we moved. I sold my car. I had like $5,000 on me when I moved here, and hope, a heart full of hope.
A dream.
It's about 2008.
Yeah.
Obama.
Yeah.
And
One hopeful young man, a dream, a moped, and
A knapsack.
yeah, and a pink mohawk.
and I, went to various places around San Francisco looking for a place to stay, and had to send out like 200 Craigslist applications for a room.
Did you get a temporary place or?
I did get a temporary place. It was a room with 2 guys in Inner Sunset.
Did they give you a real bed?
I did have a real bed.
I didn't have a real bed.
Oh, really?
Wow.
No. I was promised a real bed.
Okay.
And then I got very not a real
So
bed.
let's go down the line. Let's go down the line here. Tell us your story.
I had no credit, no anything. It was
Foreigner.
impossible to get. Yeah, it's impossible to get a place. I applied for a couple spots. Me and 20 other people in line, and they basically just threw my application out. They said no chance.
What year was this?
2007. So I lived in a hostel, and then I was there for 3 months, and then I lived in an SRO for another 6 months, and then finally I spent that whole time looking for a place.
What's an SRO?
Single room occupancy, like single room hotels.
Okay.
They're crack dens. They're awful places, but they're cheap, relatively. And
sources
You share
of
a
crack.
bathroom.
yeah. Well, and easy access to crack, yeah, which is, I mean, it really helps.
Bonus.
I mean, that freed up hours every day to go and look for apartments instead. And no, but then I lucked upon a guy who was sub-leasing a room who was, an awesome dude. And hi, Eric. And thanks for the room. Yeah, couldn't have done it without you.
So what about your first job? How did you find your first job here?
Well, I was working on startups. I met a guy in the hostel that I turned up at. Hi, Sally. Hey. And we
You have
started
to look
working
at this
on
one if you're going to do shout-outs. It's
Yeah,
this one.
that's all.
Hi, this is a shout-out, Cam.
Hey,
Shout out,
Wilson.
Cam.
Yeah. And he's killing it right now. He lives in Mountain View working on Elastic. I pimped his startup last week, actually.
Very
Nice.
cool.
So,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Nice.
I moved here in 2010, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I came from Washington, D.C., and I actually interviewed for PR firms from D.C. and did Skype interviews, and met a lot of PR firms that wouldn't even interview me until I was here, and got really lucky, and that one of them wanted to give me a job, Bateman Group, before I got here, 2 weeks before I bought my one-way plane ticket. Then I got here and I got promised a room for 2 weeks. So I rented it, paid $400 for this shitty room. And it turns out they gave me like a bed out of a pull-out couch.
Yeah.
And I lived in a pantry.
You literally lived in a pantry?
Yeah, they said it was a bedroom. And they were like, yeah, we got a bed. And I'm like, here's a bedroom for $400 for 3 weeks. And I got there and it was a pantry off the kitchen.
I mean, that's still a pretty good deal for a pantry, though.
So
yeah.
was it a real
$400.
bed?
That's
It's
awesome.
a steal.
No, I know, in long run, but yeah, except that I lived in a pantry.
Yeah.
In
So-
a place where no one cleaned the counters ever.
Were there people like going in there like, could you pass me the beans?
Well, this guy that lived there was from Cal State, but he didn't graduate. And just, he tutored down at the coffee shop on the corner.
Nice.
And it was awful.
You want to give a shout out to your tutor from college?
I don't even know what his name is.
Hi, random stranger.
Hey, random stranger.
Shout out.
At Cal State. At Fillmore and Haight. Hey.
Oh my
He's your
god.
Facebook friend. He will be watching this.
No, he's not. I don't know what his name was. I actually blocked him on GChat. Hey, stranger!
That Cam.
I did. I went there
This
today.
jam.
Yeah. Hey, stranger. But yeah, so then I moved out quickly. And that was
Cool.
it.
But you signed a lease, right, for your first place?
Yeah, my roommate had found the place on Craigslist before I even got there. Met her on Craigslist. I put a wanted ad up saying how awesome I was. I'm awesome. And then she contacted me. Was like, hey dude, I want to live with you. And I was like, sweet, I won't be there for 2 weeks. And she like ran down to an ATM and signed a $500 check and got
Yeah, Tim, tell us your story.
Yeah, so I thought I had a really good experience, but I mean, it doesn't really compare to that at all.
Did you not live with the Cal State weirdo?
No, but I lived on the same block, I think. I was at Hayden Fillmore. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Does everybody just come here and live there?
I think so. It's like the first like neighborhood you
Dumping
get
ground?
into. Yeah. So I didn't find the place, but my girlfriend at the time, Jen, she was living there, and so I just dropped out of college and like, I'll move to the city and I'll find a job, right? Sort of thing like everyone does at some point. Like, oh, it'll work out. So it was a nice neighborhood, but it was really loud. There were like a lot of people outside all the time, like horns blaring from buses, hobos like yelling at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Horns blaring from hobos.
Yeah.
I love hobos.
Yeah, hobos blaring off of the buses. It's a very, very weird neighborhood. And so I was there on Craigslist all day, just like, I would like to have a job. Please let me show you how competent I am. Like for like 8 hours a day.
In Crayola.
In Crayola. And like the R's are
You took
backwards.
pictures of it?
Yeah.
He's got the big Crayola and like one eye closed and his
Yeah.
tongue sticking out.
I would fax
It
it.
took more work.
Yeah, I would fax it down to the cafe and then go down to the cafe and have my Falcon deliver it to the actual person.
Glitter glue gun.
And then finally I found a job after like, I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 months, like some small company, shout out to IT on Systems.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Woo!
They took a risk on me and I worked there for a year before going to
and
Apple.
regret
so-
it now.
Yeah.
Absolutely regret it.
Absolutely regret it. They really missed out.
It took
Yeah.
3 or 4 months, really?
Yeah, it's very hard.
How old were you?
I was like 22, 23.
So you're
Yeah.
fresh out of college?
Fresh out of college.
So you felt like you had to prove yourself?
I mean, I had already had like work at the university.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really hard when you have like nothing to draw upon. Like I didn't have a GitHub profile. I didn't
Right.
have
Yeah.
any open source projects I'd worked on.
So how do you prove yourself as a developer? That's actually
So what I did was I spent
I
a
think Dan
month.
knows.
I spent a month like burning through the cash I had and coding,
Right.
and I built my own projects, right? And
Yep.
that to me is actually how I hire people. Is if they have side projects that they're passionate about and they want to talk about that and they're interested and it looks cool. I think that shows a lot more to me than anything that someone was paid to do, in my opinion, right? Especially if like you're gonna need that person to love their job.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
what if someone doesn't have that luxury? You know, especially if you come to San Francisco.
Right.
And rent is so high.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's like so much time during the day. Like, what are you doing if you're not like applying for jobs and like, eating?
right.
What else do you have to do other than work on something that you're passionate about?
Yeah.
I think that's Dan's point, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Hang out in Dolores Park. I do that now.
Yeah. Look for your doppelgangers.
Well, I mean, whatever. So I'm not.
So what
I'm not a
advice-
coder by
Yeah.
by default. So I came here and whatever. I had to still get a job.
So how do you do that in PR? Like, how do you prove yourself? I mean, how did?
Well, that's what I'm asking. So I had to prove myself by doing my job the first time, but they hired a college grad out of the gate. But they were lucky to get me, Blakey and Agnew. And but whatevs. You prove yourself in the job and you do the shit. But how do you make the same risk that every other employer does, just hiring a grad right out of college who knows how to code? Or I mean, you learn by experience regardless. PR is learned by experience. I don't think anyone that comes out with a communications major is a great PR person, because that's not how it works.
I think for me, it's someone who's been just coding for a while. Like, I started coding when I was 10.
Right.
And, like, I could talk the talk and walk the walk. Like, that's super important to me. Like, if somebody mentions IRC, there are, like, hints that people drop that you're like, okay, like, this is a legit guy, right? Or girl. And it clicks. When it clicks, right?
So the interview matters.
Right, and it depends on what kind of level you're hiring at. If
Yeah.
like you're a new startup, you want somebody who's kind of well-rounded, and but as you grow, you need people that take on more specialized roles.
Yeah.
So you start hiring more and more to that level of expertise. Anyway, so what tips would you have for people who are looking to move to San Francisco and are looking for tech jobs or like places to live?
Oh, there's a ton of things you could do. First of all, I mean, if you're thinking about moving to San Francisco, there's lots of opportunities to look at the neighborhoods that are really affordable and are also decent to live in. You can use PadMapper and also use Google Maps to look and see what different neighborhoods look like in terms of pricing, the type of people that are out there during the day, you know, like what the car situation is like, if there's parking, if there's not parking, just to see like where can you live and what does it look like. You can use San Francisco's police department maps to see what kind of crimes occur in different areas. So, I mean, the $10 looks like a great deal, right? You know, you can get a place for like $500 a month, but then, you know, there's crime there.
You don't want to live anywhere in the $10 that costs $500 a month, FYI listeners.
Yeah.
We actually, so I made a very big mistake when hiring an engineer who moved here from Colorado, or was trying to move here from Colorado, and he was dropped in the mission, and the mission isn't bad. It exists kind of this.
It
has good and bad parts.
Yeah, so there's people like us, and then there's like there's a rough crowd, right? And so on the surface it looks kind of rough, but it's definitely like livable. I love living.
Livable.
Everyone stay away from the mission
carry
so
a
I can have
knife.
it.
Yeah.
And I'm a husky dude. I forgot where I was going with this.
Hey, husky dude,
Yeah.
do you want to grab me a beer?
Yeah, I'll grab you.
The Duke of Beers.
What?
Thanks.
This beer brought to you by my fridge.
Sponsored by Pasta Systems, actually.
Yeah.
This case.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
So okay.
So
So,
on that topic.
the engineer came here, experienced this kind of rough neighborhood, and was like, I don't feel comfortable hanging out here. I'm gonna go get a hotel because he was
He
sleeping.
came to your house?
He was sleeping on our couch.
He was sleeping
You
on this
hired an
couch.
engineer and he's
Well, we brought him out here to see if he was a good
From
cultural
India?
fit.
Colorado.
No, Colorado.
Oh,
Very similar.
worse.
Very similar.
Almost.
Kidding.
Easy mistake.
And he was sleeping on our couch and was like, I'm going to go get a hotel room, and was kind of already sketched out about this area. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, I found a great deal on a hotel in San Francisco.
An SRO.
And
Hotel Royan.
that sentence should never exist. There are no great deals on hotels in San Francisco that you want to
we
stay
looked
at.
at loin.
He ends up staying in the Tenderloin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Out of the
Needless
frying
to
pan
say-
into the fire.
He left and
Yeah.
did not want to come back to San Francisco ever again.
Okay, so on that topic, what would you think about someone who wants to stay at an Airbnb if they want to move to San Francisco?
Yeah, there's
I
a
think
great
that's
Airbnb.
A great idea.
Would
Since
you
summer.
recommend someone do that if
I-
they want to
Yes, of course.
get into the San Francisco?
Absolutely. I know plenty of people that have rented out Airbnbs, and it's actually turned into leases for them.
Yeah,
They've
Oh, wow.
actually found places to stay. They've taken over leases from previous tenants. So I think that's probably the best option for someone who's looking to explore the city, meet people quickly, and find an okay place to live.
yeah.
So
I mean, we want to Airbnb out our second room, and I think, I don't want to handhold people when
Right.
they come here, but I'm happy to tell them where they should go and have a good place for them to stay. And things are so expensive here. I think Airbnb is a good way to at least get a good starting ground, and somebody else has vetted them as well.
Yeah.
Are you plugging your second room right now?
Yes, it's no, I'm just kidding. I don't have a website for it yet.
Yeah.
okay.
No, I think
Airbnb.com
slash pasta.
/ pasta. No,
Man.
I'm kidding.
I think Laura says a good point too about the wanted ads. I think a lot of rooms, because there is such huge demand here compared to supply, a lot of rooms just never even make it up onto Craigslist. And I know for me, like, we went and looked at the wanted ads well before we put our ad up, and a lot of rooms are placed through friends, a lot of rooms are placed through like email
Yeah.
lists.
No.
By the time a room makes it up on Craigslist, you're in the last quarter of rooms or wherever even offered. So
Yeah.
Definitely, pound the ground, let everyone know that you're looking for a room. Make sure you email your friends in San Francisco or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anyone here, put up a wanted ad on Craigslist, because that will open up double the number of rooms that you have if you just are browsing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a great point. Yeah. Friends, make friends, because
Yeah.
that's where I've personally found all of my places.
Yep.
Just Yeah, those
Apart
are
from
all
my first place, everything has come pretty much through
just
knowing
word of
someone.
mouth. Yeah.
It definitely pays to know people.
And all my housemates. So when I used to live in Full House, and we were filling a room every
That's
like
awesome.
every 3
Square?
months.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's
Okay.
on 21st and Folsom.
You actually lived in Full House.
Yeah.
How are the twins? Do they have the cut it out crew thing?
Yeah.
No.
Jesse,
I will blur that out.
Jesse's
No,
always like on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
We did have an Uncle Joey actually
Did you?
at Full House.
With the woodchuck?
Sure, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention half the time.
Stamos is where it was really at. Anyways, keep
Gotcha.
going.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time filling rooms there, and it was always through friends. I will say, of the
What are you guys giggling about? I don't know what happened.
Filling rooms?
ability to drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are cut off.
Yeah.
You guys are cut off. No, continue. And
Tecate,
then
the
Yeah.
beers.
The beer, the
Tecate.
beer of choking.
Tecate, the beer of Techendo.
Whoa.
What?
The beer of I can't believe this is on sale.
Yeah.
It was $9.99. Anyways.
The beer of cheapest per fluid ounces that
Okay.
isn't
So-
Steel Reserve.
Yeah.
So did you move here in 2007?
Yes.
Did you have the experience then that it was as hard to find a place as it is now?
Yes. It was. It was.
Because I found my place in like 2007, 2008.
2008 is different.
It's
yeah.
it's not amazing, but like it was on Craigslist for 3 months before I got it, and I was the only person who actually came to look at it, and it's like in a nice part of the DuBose Triangle.
Yeah.
So I don't get
That's
it.
where I
But
live.
to be fair, there's been multiple
Where do you
murders.
live?
Yeah.
On DuBose at Market.
Oh, yeah.
Committed by Tim.
Yeah, don't,
actually.
Yeah.
don't go rob me.
Their walls
No,
are
I
full
live
of
at
corpses.
15th.
Like
I
that-
lived at 15th and Castro.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's further.
A little bit up.
It's
yeah.
on a burial ground.
Yeah, I'm like.
I love
there's-
that neighborhood.
I look
It
out the
was
window
so
and I see
good.
the mint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
neighborhood. It's very nice.
Okay,
It's really
so
nice.
I always tell people that. It's
anyone